evening, everyone. I'll call the meeting to order at 6:01. Roll call, please.
Chairman Bonavides. Here. Vice Chair Dawson.
Here.
Secretary Sienna.
Here.
Judy Bannon.
Present.
Carolyn Candelora.
Here.
Victoria Lanza.
Here.
Marcia Nafrio.
Here. Thank you. Salute the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Visitors, please limit your comments to items on the agenda. I don't see any visitors. We'll move over to student representatives.
Alrighty.
How are you?
Pretty good, yourself?
Good, thanks.
Alrighty. So one of the first events that happened in February was our elective fair. It was held on February 13th, and the cool thing about it was that it was our first elective fair that we had at North Branford High School. It was proposed by two of our AP government students, two of my friends actually, Kyle Sadusky and Jason Heckel. They both proposed the idea of having a fair in order to explain to students more information about the type of classes and courses that they would be applying to for the next year. And they made it actually they made it really happen, which was really cool. I was able to go to elective fair and actually see it and learn more about the courses and the classes. Obviously, I won't be able to take them, unfortunately, but
well, that's if you graduate. So
yeah,
we'll
see. Yeah,
we'll just see. Yeah, a few months left.
But yeah, the elective fair was a great success, and thanks to Abigail DeTore and Michelle Martino for the organization of the elective fair. And then following that, we have the North Branford High School Literary Magazine earns its national recognition. Congratulations to Chelsea Dodds and our Kaleidoscope Literacy Magazine for being selected to receive the rank of first class in 2025 National Council of Teachers of English, recognizing excellence in art and literacy magazine's program. Chelsea has led our literary magazine for many years, and it continues to be an exceptional publication for our students to share their talent and love for writing. And I myself have applied for our literacy magazine, and yeah, I know a lot of students love to do it, and it's a great way for us to show our creativity in North Branford. And then we have our Health and Wellness Fair, which was placed on February 11th. The fair was an interactive, student-centered event, and the main purpose of it was to educate students on areas of personal health, including topics like stress, nutrition, exercise, movement, accident prevention, and healthy relationships. It was ran by a lot of student clubs, and they were able to create engaging activities in order to help students connect to these important topics. And then another event that we had was our Student Council Blood Drive, which will be happening next week on February 26th, and where the American Red Cross will just come back to North Branford High School in order to host a blood drive sponsored by our North Branford High School Student Council. I'm a part of the Student Council, and we're putting a lot of effort and work towards gathering students, helping volunteer, and just prepare for next week and get ready for the blood drive.
Nice.
And then lastly, for some professional learning, we have North Branford Intermediate School and North Branford High School walkthroughs, which will be on February 23rd and 24th, where the North Branford Intermediate School and High School will conduct vertical walkthroughs. School teams will continue the work of observing, exploring, and identifying moments of productive struggle. And then on February 25th, staff will gather by department after school to discuss the walkthrough process and determine the next step goals to further align with an eye toward increased rigor and resiliency.
Oh, very
That's
nice.
that.
Thank you. A lot going on.
Yes, a lot going on. Very busy in
Very
February,
busy.
yeah.
Thank
You guys have
so
any
much.
questions? I feel free to answer them for you.
Anybody? No, you pretty much covered it.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
Alright, thank you guys. Have a good rest of the night.
Dismissed.
Take care.
Good job.
Okay. We'd like to get a motion, please, to amend the agenda for this evening. Can we make that motion?
I can make a motion to amend the agenda of February 19th, 2026 Board of Education meeting to add discussion to extend to executive session regarding a legal matter under agenda item number 9, new business.
A second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. So we will go into executive session under new business. Okay, thank you. And we have the consent agenda, which includes resignations, appointments, leaves, donations, and field trips. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda, please?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda of February 19, 2026, Board of Education meeting as submitted.
I'll second.
Any discussion on the consent agenda?
Is this for like all the, I'm sorry, is this for all the stuff? Because I had a question on the open choice program.
Oh, just through field trips.
Okay.
No, it's for resignations, appointments, leaves, donations, which
Okay.
there's none. And it's also including the minutes
The minutes.
from the January 22nd and the
Yes.
February 4th.
Yeah, so I
But,
can't.
yes, yes.
Okay, so I just wanted to make a note on page 4 of 7 with the ACES open choice.
Wait, I'm sorry, where are we? The last month's meeting?
Yeah, month's meeting, yeah. It says the ACES open choice program, it says this is required by state law. It's not, we decided to opt in. It's not a state mandate. It says open choice is a major component of our ability to provide diversity within our schools. This is required by state law. It's not. It's an opt-in.
So how would you like to word it?
Without.
I would just say,
strike.
yeah, just strike the state
Is it
law.
not required by state law? I thought it
No,
was
I
by
Googled it too.
By Chef versus O'Neill.
No, I Googled it. They said there are certain towns that are North Branford is not, but we decided to do the opt-in.
And we voted.
And we voted on it, so it's not a state
So we just
mandate.
take that out.
Yeah,
Just strike the state law.
yeah, it's not required by state law.
Okay. All right, any other comments or, for the consent agenda? Seeing none, take a vote. All in favor of approving the consent agenda? We're going to take a roll call vote because it includes 2 meetings, one of which you were not present at. So we'll take a roll call vote on that.
Chairman Bondi's?
Yes, aye.
Vice Chair Dawson?
Yes.
Secretary Sienna?
Yes.
Judy Banner?
Yes.
Carolyn?
What are we voting on?
The consent agenda. Oh, yeah, that's, which includes the minutes for the 2 meetings, one of which you.
Oh, so I would have to abstain or whatever. I mean, I read it. It's fine.
Yes.
Whatever I got to abstain.
Gotcha. Yolanda? Marcy?
Yes.
Matthew?
Okay. And now we move to the superintendent's report.
Thank you. You have the communications from the building administrators at each level in the handout. I'm obviously not going to go through those. Are there any questions for any administrators at this time for all the events, activities? We're past the midway point in the
Just
year, and
amazing.
it's going to be March before we know it, so if not,
Amazing work, everybody, just tons of stuff going on, so bravo.
okay, if there's no questions for communications, we'll move on to TVES paving overage cost. That was asked to be put on the agenda. Again, we've talked quite a bit about this in previous meetings and at the communication meeting, so I will pass around a communication from Michael Downs.
Thanks.
Thank you.
You can see it dated on August 20th. I'll wait for everyone to get a copy. And it's addressed to me, and it was CC'd to Chairperson Bonadies. Good morning, Scott. As you're aware, the town undertook and recently completed the paving project at Tutucket Valley. There were additions to this project which include the paving of the playground areas, the relocation and creation of a trash enclosure per the request of the board. The attached memorandum from Assistant Public Director Dan Salentano elaborates on these costs. The full cost of the project is roughly just under $300,000, while roughly $260,000 was authorized for the project. I would respectfully ask that the Board of Ed consider supporting this project by appropriating the approximately $35,000 difference in the project. I would ask that this item be put on your August 21st Board of Ed meeting, which we did. We discussed about it. We closed that out, but it's now back on there. There's a memorandum dated the 13th from Dan Celentano to the mayor on that second page. And he talks about the overages in the project and how it went from 200 to 291, 591 with a shortfall of 91,000. Obviously 60,000 was moved forward and they were looking for the other 30. If you go to the next page, August 21st, I responded back to Michael Downs. It is unfortunate the town council has taken on a project that may end up costing more than projected. Unfortunately, as you know, with the extreme budget cuts to the Board of Ed's 25-26 requested funding, we are unable to approve a $45,000 expense. This amount is almost 25% of the increase we were approved for the $200,000 sincerely. So that's the update on that. I don't know what you want to do with it, but I thought we had moved on from this and it came back up and around again, so.
Well, can you jog my memory on, when we talked about this in August, because it's written that the Board of Ed requested this, wasn't it determined that we didn't ask for this?
Correct.
Okay.
It was a capital project, there was conversation next door, it was never presented to us, and we never approved it through central office.
It's also true that when they're doing the project, if there's something that a decision that has to be made on the spot because all the equipment is there and everything is there, and that the public works director can make a decision in real time so that there's, additional money doesn't get spent and time lost. So that was what was done.
Right, and I think based off of that, the stuff that, so here we have it back on our plate, and based off of the conversations that we've had with our communications committee, and now we're upon budget season, and I think they're looking at this in the spirit of good faith, I'd like to make a motion that the board consider paying $8,275 as a one-time fee, and that would be out of the 2% fund to cover the signage for $1,750, which was a safety issue, and the fencing for $6,525, which was a zoning concern, and that had to be corrected at that time, so it would be totaling of the $8,275. So if I could get a second on that.
8275.
8275.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I will second that. For discussion, let's discuss that.
I made my feelings pretty clear at the August meeting that when a project goes to a capital project, it is no longer our responsibility. We did not approve the changes. I understand how they came to happen. There has been no precedent set in the past that I'm aware of that a group that has had the project done on their behalf has been asked to make up a difference or to pay any overages. So I am opposed to us paying any amount of money towards this, so my vote will be no.
Anyone else like to make?
Can I ask just one question? You mentioned something about a zoning requirement or something?
The fencing, my understanding based on
Right.
yeah.
So the
Trash.
the receptacle barrel was next to the building. So the only reason that we needed a fence was because it was moved away from the building. So it became that after it was moved to a different location. So the expense was the pad that it was placed on when it was moved, and then the fencing around it because it's near the playground. So that.
Which was a requirement, was our understanding. I think that's
Because
what John Florio had said.
It was
that
moved, and that was the decision that was made then.
Right.
So it's not really, it wasn't really an original request, it wasn't in the original purview of the project, just so you know. So we get into, if we're gonna, moving forward, if we have other capital projects and things and they get into it, and we don't go through a formal process of adopting where the money's gonna come from, because right now, that, you know, we had $200,000, so that money is gonna have to be, you know, found until we rectify the 2% account. It'll have to come out of the building. So,
Why?
Well,
Why
the
can't we
motion
use,
is to-
so what's, yeah, the motion I thought was to,
It's a one-time expense.
it was a one-time
2%.
expense and put it in the 2%
That's the motion.
fund. And it's only one,
I don't know if we
it's
have,
only one,
after the $600,000, I don't know what's in the 2% account. I mean, I don't know what it's, if it's
There
in
was
there.
about 73,000 there after the 600,000 that's set aside for the transportation, and then there's 43,000 that needs to be re-encumbered for Tyler,
Technology.
so it's about 30.
That'll be left.
That's a third of what's left.
If this
So we're
motion,
just so everyone's aware, we're
Right.
going on a paper-thin,
Margin.
right now, we don't have, we only got $200,000. I just want everyone to be aware, if something happens and we have an expense, we're getting into kind of a dangerous,
my concern is, what's to stop this from happening on the next project and the next project? We're setting, we've never, in all the time that I've been here, we've never done this.
this has been
well, we
paid for.
had, I mean, it says here, I mean, I wasn't here when all this first started, but it says per BOE request. And
That's
I feel like, I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like the town council has also picked up, didn't they, the shed or something that we wanted? Didn't they help pay for
No,
No.
we were paying for that entire shed,
entire shed?
the entire shed.
And that's why I said at the beginning, it says BOE request,
Yeah.
but we never requested this.
No, we did not.
And I think
Not
it's
vote on
opening
it.
up a can of
It's not
worms now for
projects.
every capital project. If it goes above and beyond, now we're on the hook for whatever that money is.
With the discussion at the communications meeting, there was some talk of paving being moved from our capital request to be a town expenditure. And I believe that's something that they're willing to support, that we won't be asking for paving as part of our capital requests from now on, that's going to be a town expenditure. And
Right, but it might not be, it could be any capital project.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily have to be paving, it could be any project. And other people have the authority, they can't have the authority to spend our money. You know what I'm trying to say?
They're not, they're asking for a vote.
They're asking for some goodwill to build a relationship going forward where we have some goodwill.
Right, I feel like it's just,
So
That's
I-
Board of Ed and
it's like
the
we-
town council.
What's the goodwill that we get back?
We believe that our goodwill will beget other acts of goodwill.
So then can we table this until, like, does this have to be voted on and decided today from our money, or can we see where our budget is
There's
at the end
no,
of
it's
the
already
year?
paid for. This project is entirely, it was back in June that this was done, in July. So this has been paid for months now.
Quite
So,
frankly, we shouldn't be paying for goodwill. Goodwill should be bought through the communications committee and through conversation and actions. And we have a budget coming up that has got a very large increase in it. And my feeling is we're going to need every penny of our 2% fund to put towards next year's budget. So any money that we take now will be yet another loss when we're looking at next year's.
Well, we also
funds.
have to make sure too, with the 2% fund, that it's a one-time expenditure, not something that we're relying on for.
We have relied on it for the
Well,
last.
and that's what's getting us in the problem, I think.
Not,
No.
well, there's a
Well,
lot
no,
of that.
it's bailing us out, unfortunately. It really is. I
if
mean,
we don't use our 2% next year with what we estimate coming in, let's just use a number, $600,000, then we're gonna have to go into the budget and find $600,000 in personnel. We have nowhere else to go. I've made this clear. We're in this situation because if you look at and you follow the trajectory over time, we've never gotten more than 1.4%. So each year with contractual obligations, we've gone and we've gone and we've gone and we've bailed out using the 2% account. And now, unless we level out, we're going to continue to do this, and next year will be
Well,
worse.
and that's where we should be using it for like the one-time expenditures, like with the, I don't know, with the upcoming projects that we have going, because you know it's just one time. If you're trying to use it within budget, it doesn't make sense because you need that money every year.
Well, that's
And that
capital.
too-
That's capital,
is
that's different money.
That's-
We don't pay for that.
That's exactly where we find ourselves right now, unfortunately, in that the 2% fund, and it was, again, it was before my time as well, was being expended. And what that does is it then skews your budget, because all the items that were purchased using the 2% fund or through donations make it look like you need less when you still need that much more. So I think we're in that
Well, right,
position.
that's
We're in
what
that
I'm saying. It
position
should be
right
used
now.
for one-time purchases, not,
No, that would be wonderful. If we were
Could do
funded,
that.
if we were funded at a level that we wouldn't have to let people go, we wouldn't have to do that. It's just, if we don't do it, you're gonna have $600,000, but then you're gonna have to go back and find that, and it's gonna be personnel. There's nowhere else to cut. We can't cut. We've already negotiated one contract. We have 3 more coming up. We're guesstimating the health insurance. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. There's nothing else in that budget, so it's gonna be personnel.
The ask was 33 plus.
33,800. When it came to us, it was 45,
45.
because they had 250.
They
I know what they
used it to
said here,
260.
but they spent 250, we were told at the communications meeting. So that would leave 41,599.
Well, it says,
I know what it says there, but then later we were given a different number.
okay,
Not
well,
that it matters,
well,
because the amount that's been
right,
motioned
the amount
is
that's being
different.
proposed is a fraction of the amount that was originally requested. And it was requested and asked for some good, as a sign of faith, of good faith to offer some reimbursement to this project that went over for various reasons. So,
I like the comments were said, but I kind of feel like I'm not a table, like Vicki said,
Yeah.
because I feel like maybe we need a little bit more clarity on it.
so you can make a motion to table, you can certainly do that. We have a motion on the table. We've discussed it, but you can make a substitute motion to table and see what happens.
May I ask what clarity we hope we'll get in another month? I
Well-
think we have the facts, I think we have the numbers. I'm just asking, what is it we'd be
We don't
looking
know,
for?
we're speculating, we
Retable.
have no,
What are we speculating?
I'm hoping that maybe with this being, that we're saying, okay, listen, we can't pay all of this, but we could pay a small fraction of it. We're willing to compromise at this level, right? If we compromise at this level, in hopes they see that we're coming through, and we're not saying no, nothing, a hard no, that maybe when it comes time for them to come to us, we don't get that hard no also. And we
I guess I'm confused. At the communication meeting, you were opposed to this. And it was clearly stated that we weren't going to be moving forward with giving any money back. Did something change, or I guess I'm just confused by that.
Me?
That was stated at the communications meeting. And that's why I assumed that we were going to,
We were discussing the amount and going back and forth, there was questions, and then it just made, Judy had made a suggestion to just put it back on our agenda. If it were up to me right now, I would just say, let's put it back to the committee. We can refer it to the committee of, the communications committee and send it back.
They don't make that
And
decision.
negotiate
That-
there.
Not their decision.
they don't make that decision.
There's no
It's
vote
the-
to
it's
make.
that, but it's the, both of our.
It's Board of
I'm
Ed
not
money.
understanding why we're renegotiating something that we've already voted on in August.
It can't
We
be.
didn't
We did not vote.
Or that we
decided
discussed in
not to
August,
do
but
it.
we weren't
Took no
discussed.
action. We took no action.
Right.
The question was, I offered
6 months later,
I
why are we
offered several
talking
times
about
to
this?
make a motion that night, and And no one on the board felt that was important because we had kind of decided we weren't going to do it.
To do it.
But what happened was because we didn't actually, my perception is because we didn't actually make a motion and vote on it, that it was still thought that it was being considered that we might pay. My understanding was we had made a decision, but because we didn't vote on it, I think it was still kind of a gray area just hanging around. So at the meeting when it was brought up again, I did say, let's just put it on the agenda and take a vote so that our intentions were clear.
Okay.
So now we're here. We have one motion on the table. Is there a motion? Is there another motion to table?
I say we vote.
I don't see a motion to table. So we have a motion on the table, and we're going to vote on that motion.
We'll do a roll call.
Roll call.
Ready?
Yes.
Chairman Bondi's,
Yes.
Vice Chair Dawson,
Yes.
Secretary Sienna,
I guess I'm gonna say yes.
She said yes.
She said yes.
sorry,
She's soft-spoken, I know.
Janet,
No.
Carolyn Candelora.
Yes.
Victoria Lanza,
No.
Marcy Alfredo.
No.
Okay, would you be able to give me that motion? It's pretty lengthy.
Yes.
I should have repeated it before we took the roll call vote, which I should have done. So the motion is to pay for,
Well, you can hand it to me after.
Oh, okay.
I'd like to hear the number again.
okay, the motion was to pay for the signage as a safety concern. That was for $1,750. And the fence installation around the trash can enclosure for $6,525, which was a zoning code update.
Totaling
Totaling,
$8,275.
Coming in by 2%.
Right, coming from the
2%.
2% fund.
as a one-time expense.
Mary, you set? Good. Okay, Martha?
Your financial report was in the board packet. The total expenditures for the month of January alone were over $2.5 million. Of this, 1.5 was salaries, 450,000 was just for the medical, vision and dental insurance, and another 115,000 was for other benefits such as FICA, Social Security, etc. So those three things total 2.149 million, which, as we've been saying, that's 83.7% of our expenditures for the month of January is just solely related to salary and benefits. We did purchase some facility equipment for the month of January. There were some floor scrubbers that needed to be replaced, and then a hot water heater at Tutucket, which we needed to buy. Moving on to the year-to-date expenditures, nothing really has changed there in substance from last month. There's a total of almost $74,000 that has been spent year-to-date on substitutes, custodial, paraprofessional, a small amount for nursing substitutes, and a small amount for daily teacher subs. Transportation remains currently over by $632,000. The reason why it looks less when you look at it in summary on your year-to-date report is because there's still some funds remaining in the athletic transportation line. So that's why the amount that I'm telling you for regular student transportation is not agreeing with the summary amount you're seeing on line 510. In regard to Fund 25, there is no change from last month. As I said, we're expecting $43,000 to be encumbered for Tyler Technologies, and $632,000 to help us with the student transportation. In regards to Family Resource Center, we're currently showing a positive net position as of January 31st of $71,000. I'll remind you again that that does not include anticipated salaries looking ahead, nor does it include any contribution for their health insurance so far year to date. Food service for the month of January, we had 17 days for breakfast and 18 days for lunch. And the reason the difference is because we had one delayed opening, which took away the opportunity for breakfast that day. We served a total of 13,094 lunches and 1,328 breakfast meals. Breakfast itself did well. We increased by 102, but unfortunately, there was a rather large decrease in our lunch numbers from January of 25.
That's a large amount.
It is, it really is a large amount. And so I went and looked at the participation because I was curious, and I thought maybe it was the number of days, but there really wasn't anything that popped out to me to explain why there was such a difference. And our participation percentages are about 50% in all the schools, with Totucket being the highest for January at 53%.
Wonder what was on the menu that day?
That one.
I didn't look at the menu. I just went solely by the numbers. So
I was gonna say maybe sick. Yeah, they're not feeling.
yeah, it could be.
Illness.
There was
Yeah.
a lot of, I
Yeah,
know a
there
lot of
was-
kids got.
A lot of illness. That's very true. So, does anybody have any questions?
The $632,000 for transportation,
Yes.
is that the final payment that we have for this year?
So what happens is we pay our vendor annually for the regular student transportation, so going to school and then coming home. And we do that in one payment at the beginning of the year because we then receive a 1.5% discount for paying up front, which amounts to close to $40,000
Real money.
off. That's why we do it. So we made that payment, and that's the payment that you see in the expenditure column. And I am waiting to move any excess. So at the end, when we get closer to the end of the year, I will take some of that expenditure that's over and then ask for your permission, as I've been saying, to move some of that expenditure over to Fund 25. And then that'll clear that up.
Okay.
But, so to answer your question, the regular student transportation has been paid for, and right now we only receive bills for athletic transportation, any special runs or field trips, and then of course outsource special ed, but that's not through our regular vendor, that's outside of our contract.
Okay, thank you.
No questions? Okay, we'll move on. I don't have, for the Board of Ed budget and capital request, the calendar, the budget workshop schedule with the board. As soon as I get that, I will put that out electronically when I do have that. From our communications meeting, there was conversations about the units over at TVS for the heating and cooling. So John was charged with moving forward with getting estimates, so I'm just going to read 2 emails from him just so everyone's up to speed. A meeting with the heating engineering Friday at TVS. He actually met today. He will then calculate the BTUs needed for heating and the tonnage needed for cooling. That report will be given to the HVAC contractors so they'll be able to quote it accordingly. Also, along with the engineer, the salesman for Torico, our mechanical supplier, will also be here and provide us with information on the units available to do the job, making the contractor's job a little easier. They already know the scope of the work because they started looking at this last year. Also contacted a structural engineer to review the location to be sure the roof will handle the load. That was done today by Nafis and Young. That happened today, and it did pass that it can hold the unit on the roof. He's also meeting with the electrician to look at the job to provide us with the electrical cost as well. So today, the structural engineer from Nafis and Young came today and said, we're clear. It's no problem with the roof handling the load. And I met with the electrician. They'll go to our work and get us a quote for the electrical. So that's moving forward. He'll have a very hard number. You know that 250 was put in there as a placeholder. As John gets all of these bits and pieces prior to us going to our request with the council, he'll have that. The other piece was the $67,000. That was just straight equipment for TVS kitchen. I think there were 3 products that they were looking to purchase off the bid list. So that 67 is accurate. Okay? So that's the update on that. Our kindergarten registration, we are holding at 102 that have registered right now to date. We expect that number to go up over the next several months. Usually in the summertime too, we get a little blip. And obviously there's more time left in the school year for that to actually change. So a healthy number would be in the 120s. Would be in the 120s. No request from the town manager. I do have something I'll read on the renovation project from the superintendent that oversaw the job. Project is now complete. All systems are fully operational. All record closeout items have been finalized and turned over to the town. The glass replacement has also been completed. We were discussing the following outstanding items. There's 3 of them. The green roof leak, which we are going to do away with and then seal, and then we'll have above ground planters. Our plan was to investigate and locate the leak at the green roof during the upcoming winter break. However, due to the snow accumulation, we are shifting this activity to the April break. We continue to work closely with the building committee, QA&M on this issue, and will provide updates once the source of the leak is identified. So obviously the weather hasn't really cooperated. Once we clear snow and we're able to get up there, they'll then do that work to seal that rooftop, and then any vegetation that's on there will be removed. We will not have rooftop vegetation growing into the roof. That will come out. It'll be a larger area to go out with the students. We'll have a structure where they can plant above ground and we won't have the water infiltration. The epoxy floor patch in the girls' locker room, a small area of the epoxy flooring in the girls' room requires corrective work. We are coordinating with the school administration and our flooring contractor to establish a timeline for completing the work, likely during April break. They've done the boys' room, that's complete. They had to re-sand and then re-pour the epoxy. And it looks really nice. So now it's just a matter of correcting the girls. And it sounds like they have a plan in place over April. The whiteboards, some of the whiteboards are starting to peel. We took pictures and sent them to the contractor. All corrective work related to the whiteboards has been completed. Yes? No? Still working on a couple? I will follow. I don't want to put Miss Lee on the spot, but we were going back and forth, and we sent the classrooms and pictures and everything. So we will follow up with whiteboards that are not completed. So we'll. I'll speak with Amar and get an update. Okay, that's it for the renovation project, and that's it for my report.
Can we jump back to kindergarten registration? I just have 2 quick questions.
Sure.
About that. So that the 102, that includes those, it was 44-ish preschoolers that were moving up, so we got around 60 new registrations, and kind of, sort of. And do we know when the assessments will be completed for those 11 who have requested early?
Yes, it's in April, the last Wednesday in April.
Okay.
I can tell you this.
I don't need exact, I'm just curious about when it was going to happen, so we know if those 11 are going to be added to our number.
I thought we weren't allowed to do that. I thought it changed and it had to be by their birthday. They can still petition?
That was still,
They can still petition,
yeah.
but we have developed a very comprehensive development of the appropriate assessment that I'm really proud of, so I'm sure that we'll be able to really look at it holistically.
Oh, I'm sure. Okay. It was yours, we'll change the law, but we're still going to allow. Thank you.
Was that it for your question?
Yes.
Committee reports, negotiations. No, there was no meeting. Martha, you were going to give provide a board with an update regarding upcoming bargaining negotiations?
Yes, so we are gathering the information required for the 4 upcoming unions that we will be going to negotiations with. That's the food service employees, the secretaries, the nurses, and the custodians. And we anticipate those to start in the spring. The exact dates have not been finalized. Usually our attorney will reach out to the union representative to schedule those.
Okay, thank you. Budget and operations, there's been no meeting. Curriculum, instruction, and strategic planning, there was a meeting today before the board meeting. Can anyone report on that?
Sure. We had a nice meeting with Carter Welsh. We talked about unfunded mandates, which I thought was pretty interesting. So these are things that are mandated by the state, but we don't get funding for. It's financial literacy, Native American studies, Holocaust, genocide, computer science, and then for the computer science, they use like a grades 3 and 8 use it through a literacy program. K through 2 doesn't use it. So that was like a little bit of a concern because the younger students aren't getting computer science. And then there's instructional, this is like another like bullet point, instructional methods and access. So it's reading, there's play-based learning, and in the kindergarten, like especially in the kindergarten grades, that's kind of like a lot of money because you're buying like toys and games for the play-based learning. So, I mean, you think about playing Legos, like board games, curriculum transparency. Then we talked about graduate requirements. This I kind of thought was cool. So you have 9 credits of a humanity, like you need 9 credits of humanities, 9 credits from STEM, 1 from physical education or wellness, 1 world language, and then there was a mastery-based diploma assessment. That was 1 credit, which is the capstone, and that just blew my mind because I know those kids in their senior year doing the capstone work their tails off and to only have 1 credit. And then we were talking about how with our world language, Spanish is just offered in 8th grade, where at one point it was offered in 7th and 8th. And we also had a lot of other world languages that now I think it's just down to Spanish and Italian. And we used to
Spanish and Italian.
And we used to have French and I can't remember what else. So.
Latin, French. STEM came on and it's the new focus.
Yeah.
That's what's replaced it.
And then we were just talking about professional learning with paraeducators and teachers and just all their training that they need to do. I didn't write down specifics because I don't know. I figured I knew it. Now that I'm here having to present it, I am presenting it. But it was all...
18 hours a year.
Yeah, the paras were 18. And then did you get anything else? Carter, do you have anything to add to that, or is that pretty good?
No, I think that was really good. There's a lot of training required.
There's a lot of training required. And then we were talking about the intervention model, and I'm going to have him chime in because I was like, I don't really know how to explain this, so you're on.
Yeah, so we were discussing kind of the progression. You know, there's a lot of funding and financial resources for special education, but prior to that model, what people forget is we have to demonstrate how do we meet kids' needs prior to getting to that. So we have an intervention program, MTSS, SRBI, those acronyms are sometimes used. And there's statutory requirement that we provide that support when kids aren't making progress in the classroom, in a small group, in a more intensive group. And there's costs associated with that. And kind of our discussion was, we're on the cusp of barely meeting our legal obligation because of the cuts that we have to staffing. So we're relying on classroom teachers to provide a lot of that service in the classroom. It's an added stress to their plate, certainly, and not something that, best practice to add that on. We're also using computerized programs to provide some of that support. So are we meeting our obligation? Yes, but we're coming to that cusp where, due to staffing shortages, relying on our paraeducators. And that's just, one of those things that we have to continue to think about. How do we meet those needs and make sure we're closing gaps for kids in math and language arts at the elementary levels. But the take-home message of that, there's a lot of, you've heard this before, mandates that are not funded that we're legally responsible to try to navigate and support financially here in the district, which is quite a hardship. And then we just scratched the surface on looking at the high school program of studies, so we'll continue that into our next meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so then we have pension.
We met pension yesterday, and pension has 3 plans, the fire, police, and employee, and all 3 plans are doing good, had a good year across the board. There were strong double-digit returns, and so we decided to stay the course for the allocations.
That's excellent. Okay.
Policy.
Yes, I just wanted to write that note. Double-digit returns, so what was the percentage, do you know? Percentage of the returns?
Well, they did better in the international stock, it was over 30%, and SP and 500 was about 18%.
That's amazing. Excellent. Okay, thank you. Policy.
So I'd like to present the following policies for a first read. These are all statutory things that we have to do. So we have P1140, physical restraint and seclusion of students and use of exclusionary timeouts. P2000, alcohol, tobacco, and drug-free workplace. And P3400, policy regarding library collection, development, and maintenance, library displays and programs, and library material review and reconciliation. This one is a new policy that was just developed.
I'll second.
Okay. Any comments, any questions? I know the library collection, development, maintenance policy, there was a lot of work done on that in-house with Carter leading that effort with the administration, so I appreciate the work that was done on that. Anybody else have any questions regarding that? Okay. Do we need to vote on it?
This is a first read.
First read, so, okay, I thought there was a second part, so it's moved. All right, ACES, report from the February Board of Directors meeting. So I took a look, I didn't see February's, January's is up. They are looking for a new executive director. They're in that process of searching for that position. They have a very healthy fund balance of 8.6 million and continuing to grow. That's really all that I could glean from that report, but February's will be up on the website, yeah. Okay, building committee. Was there something else, didn't you want to add, something else?
We already mentioned the green roof, that the community feels like we should go through with that and that we should just abandon having the green roof.
Right, so we wanted to bring it to the board to see if people agreed on that.
Yeah.
We thought that was a good idea, but we feel that it is.
Yeah, I mean, we went through years of repair work at NBIS and to the tune of $10 million to correct it. Anytime you get water in a new building, if you can eradicate it and fix it by doing something that's not going to change the educational programs, I 110% agree with. Seal it, we'll still have the outdoor area, we'll still have growth going on out there, But once you get water and you don't, and you try to, and it comes back, they're gonna all go away, and then we're stuck with NDIS.
Yeah.
So-
So we just want the board to have a consensus, so that's where we should go, rather than trying to pursue it and end up with another intermediate school.
Yeah, I think everyone kind of.
Yes, I agree with that.
It's not a voting,
Yes, we don't have to vote on it, it's just
no,
being aware.
no, because it's not
But
a,
I do raise bed gardening, and you still have water. You're still getting water in there, there's plants in there, but you still have water. Anything where you're gonna collect water could be a problem, so
Right.
just cautionary.
the water in the roof with soil and plants that sits on
Yeah.
direct membrane.
Yes,
Is
it's
a
like
problem.
it's asking for trouble.
It's okay.
Okay, so, and there was the banners, wasn't there something in the gym?
Oh, the banners, yes. So, you might laugh at this, but
I don't laugh at anything.
you might.
Meaning, don't need that, the banners aren't hanging in the gym, they're out and they're being cleaned and some have to be
It's the
replaced.
question.
Yeah,
And so they asked us to bring it, and they said, and are they coming back?
yes, because a couple of parents said, my name was in that case
That's
from
what it is.
1968,
Right.
where's my
They
trophy?
want to know where it is.
Sir, we'll find your
Parents
trophy.
want it.
Yeah, everything was put in storage, the banners were in really bad shape. Some are being cleaned and salvaged, others are gonna have to be replaced. So the banners will be hung again, it's just a matter of getting it done
Okay,
and cost.
that was it.
But we do have, nothing was thrown away. We have all the trophies, everything is in
And they will
storage.
be back up.
Well, when we find a place, yeah, the banners, yes, the trophy cases, we have to figure out where we put those.
Okay. But the banner, they didn't even ask about the trophies, they asked about the banners.
Well, the same parent asked about the banners. I was killing two banners with one
I
stone.
see you did smirk there.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was like, we'll find them, trust
Might
me.
not laugh, but it'll smirk.
We'll find,
Oh, there we go.
we'll find your trophy, sir, I got it.
All right.
No,
And then we have the communication subcommittee meeting. Judy, do you want to take that and do the minutes? So you have,
We met on February 12th at the Police Department Community Room. I'll just give some general information. Obviously, a lot of what we talk about is not private because it's in the minutes, but it's more off the record than anything. So I had a couple of questions that I had asked to have some clarification for in the town's budget. And then our superintendent presented the rest of our PowerPoint to the members that were there, in addition to our capital project request for this year. We were asked that we ensure the town council that capital project requests come with quotes that cover the full cost of each project. And I think, let me see. Marjorie gave some good points about how we were good stewards of, we had been good stewards of our money, and that how it cost approximately $3 million a month to run our schools, and that we take our budget very seriously, and how many of the expenses, as we've said many times, many of the expenses are out of our control. And then we had a little bit of discussion what might happen if cuts needed to be made, but of course that's nothing that we can really discuss until after we know the monies that have been allotted to us. And the public hearing for the town will take place on March 31st at North Branford High School cafeteria.
and we encourage
We encourage everyone to come, yes, and find out about the town budget.
Thank you very much.
Can I ask, I'm sorry.
Sure.
Not all of us are on the communication committee.
Yes.
If we're gonna be asked to vote on stuff that's discussed at that committee meeting, could we have the report first?
We
You
won't be
should-
voting on
you won't
anything
vote on
that will
anything.
take place
We just
there.
voted on something tonight that was discussed at the committee.
Well, the discussion was to put it back on our agenda. Why hadn't it been voted on?
It was already on our agenda.
But yes, if there is something for sure, I'll make sure that you get it. There shouldn't be, but if something did come up, for sure.
There shouldn't, we really shouldn't be voting on anything from there. It would have to come to
I
the full
I
board.
do send the
yeah,
minutes
for
to
discussion.
Gina Cox, and they are posted online.
Okay.
So you could always, if you were curious, take a look there too at what was discussed.
Very good question. Okay, new business. We have a motion to adjourn. Can I get a motion to adjourn to executive session?
Excuse me.
Press and go to the board.
Maybe do visitors press and go to the board so nobody has to wait around for the rest of the meeting.
Dismiss them.
Okay, I thought that we were supposed to put it in at 9, after 9, so that's why I did that. Okay, visitors and press. Visitors and press. Visitors and press. Seeing none, you have to do it 3 times. Go to the board. Go to the board.
I attended the Spectrum concert. I know I sent you guys a couple pictures. And I just want to thank our teachers and our staff. It's incredible to see the kids from Jerome up to the high school and the difference that they have. And I also want to thank Miss Parker, Miss Hamill for putting on a great STEM night at Jerome that was brought in. It was a really incredible evening. And I heard nothing but good feedback from the parents. And it's been a nice, Jerome has really brought multiple ways that families can join in together and learn about the educational experience with their kids this year. And this was another great example, so thank you.
Excellent.
Go to the parent, go to the board.
Go to the parent, go to the board. I wear many hats.
Two birds, one stone.
Okay,
Like before you do, some light reading, I hand it around. It comes out live tomorrow, but you're getting it ahead of time. Don't.
Need a magnifying
Can we blow it
glass.
up? My secretary did. I can't even see with glasses on. So, just some nice PR for the schools and everything we're doing. You know we're going to do another one around the budget. And I want to thank Judy Bannon for working with Frank Mantone for the layout of this. Judy has a strong background in many things, but one of them being her creativity and her artistic ability and her ability to find ways, because when the administrators put everything forward, we would have had to purchase the entire paper. So it had to be condensed down to a format that would work, and Judy did an amazing job. Had some great ideas of getting all of our Teachers of the Year in there, you know, and parents of these teachers have already come up to me. I don't want to mention anyone, Mrs. Delizio, who hugged me today because the boy was in the paper, and it was really nice, a lot of pride. And then I don't want to mention another parent who found their child in a picture, two children in a picture. So
I am going to piggyback off that for a second because I do want to highlight that. So my oldest daughter's in the middle school, and she gets to go to Jerome as one of the readers for the kindergarten classroom. And I really love that our district involves the little kids, the big kids, and it's not just like separate schools, they really are a community.
yeah, it starts with the middle down, and then the high school going down with the group of Nicole LaCroix.
It is awesome, isn't it?
It's phenomenal. And we put out March 3rd as the PTO date, a combined PTO date with
Jerome.
the two PTOs are going to meet over at Jerome, and we're going to do the budget presentation. So we'll send something out to you inviting you.
okay.
This just came together today. So I want to thank the administrators for working with their PTOs. We then can talk about the middle high school population after we kind of do this one first. Okay?
Great,
That's it. Thank you.
excellent. Our next regular Board of Education meeting is scheduled for Thursday, March 19th, 2026.
Can you just double check? I know that, did she, no, my visitor left. I wanted to make sure because she came back in.
Oh,
But she left.
she left. Okay. Before the visitors is down here.
Where she wants to.
Before visitors and press. Okay. Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn to executive session, please?
I'll make a motion to adjourn to executive session as per section I-1225 of Connecticut General Statute as permitted by section 1-200, 6A, B, and E of the Connecticut General Statute to discuss agenda items 9, a new business legal matter.
Second? All in favor? Thank you. All in favor of going into executive session, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions?